This is our town.
Welcome!
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 205 of Valuetown. I'm ChanManV, and I'm happy to be welcoming the lovely Nicholena to the show for the first time. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing good. Definitely doing good.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah. You know, I was telling you before, like, I've been meaning to ask you for a while, but I know you streamed late at night, so I was just like reluctant to ask you a few times because of it. But I'm glad I finally asked because, you know, you were able to make the time.
Yep, had to change my vampire schedule a little bit, but
how is the night slot, by the way? You know, like usually the night slot in historically speaking was like a Crip spot, right?
Right.
So,
Crip is still on sometimes.
Yeah. So yeah, he seems to be moving like a little bit earlier and earlier these days, right? Or shortening his time. So
yeah, I don't know. I just noticed that the other day actually, because yeah, he wasn't streaming that time for a while. It was just basically Asmo and Navi and stuff, but
yeah,
I was like, I have the same time slot as Crip right now.
The good old Twitch streaming meta, you gotta love it. It's always really interesting, especially interesting nowadays with all the auto chess, you know, disruptions in everybody's streaming schedule in terms of Hearthstone. So definitely cool to see.
A lot of people chessing it up.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we got quite a bit of things to talk about this week. I thought it was going to be pretty quiet, but, you know, it turns out that I totally forgot about the Wild Open until I was talking to you. I was like, oh my gosh, how did I miss this? So I was like trying to catch up.
Nobody cares about Wild.
I know. So, well, I mean, they didn't show it, right? So, I mean, obviously that's a reason to miss it. But we're going to talk about that, of course. A couple bits of news, you know, a couple interesting tweets to really discuss, one from Iksar and just one from the eSports team. And then we're going to talk about some more meta decks that have just been appearing from since the nerfs happened. We talked about a couple of them last week, and you know, another one or two are popping up this week. So really, really cool to see that. You know, definitely see that the meta is, you know, is still in a little bit of flux and hasn't stabilized completely. And then at the end, Q&A as always. If you guys have any questions, you can go ahead and tweet those at ValuetownGG, or you can just hang around and just ask the questions in Twitch chat whenever we do it. But just like every week, we're going to start out with our week in Hearthstone. And Nicholena, what you been up to this week? Anything? I know you were in the Wild tournament, but anything other than that, since we're going to be talking about that soon?
So anything other than that? That was on Saturday. And then after that, I've pretty much been trying to dive back into Standard.
Nice.
But I've been primarily Wild laddering for the last 2 months.
Yeah, getting ready for the event, right? Yeah, and just, I mean, you had to finish top 200. That's what you had to finish to qualify, right?
100 top.
Oh, was it 100? Oh man, it's even harder. 100. Okay, so that's pretty impressive to finish. How hard was it to finish 100? Did you feel like it was a crazy grind?
Honestly, no. I don't think it wasn't really very hard. I was legend on the second day, so I spawned in at rank 10, and then I basically got to chill the whole month.
Oh,
and
nice. Yeah.
I played like the last 2 days because decay was really crazy.
Yeah.
And so on the last day, I'm like, I have to win like 1 or 2 games depending on the jump to maintain. Because I had decay to rank like 95. I was like, this is not going to hold.
Well, it's pretty impressive that you were able to squat for that long, though.
Yeah, without playing a single game.
Yeah. No kidding. Okay, well, that's good.
Then I won on 95 though, and I went to rank like 20 or something.
Oh my! One win gets you. That's unheard of.
And then what happened? Oh, who was it? Someone. Wait, who's the player that overdraws Shutterwalk all the time?
That drew Shutterwalk all the time?
That overdraws it.
Oh, overdraws it? Oh, you're talking about Cinto.
Yeah. He was streaming the last day, and he went from rank like 1 or like 2, top 5, and he lost and went to like 99.
What? Oh my. Okay.
And then it was like a really funny, like, popular, or I guess.
Yeah, that's wild, man. Because
he was like freaking out, but then he still got the finish. He still finished at top 100.
Yeah, I mean, given those big swings, it sounded like as long as you finished above 50%, you probably were going to end up there, you know, if you're starting in that area, right? Because you'd go up a bunch and you'd go down a bunch. So as long as you wouldn't go up that extra time, you're okay.
Yes. Just stop one of the times you win.
Yeah.
Oh, he went from 4 to 94. Yes,
4 to 94.
I couldn't remember the exact numbers. It was something.
That's crazy. That means, man, that means their MMR rate, you know, is like super close, right? That 40 to 94 must have been crazy tight. So,
yeah, there was a lot of people really going for it in the last week.
Yeah.
So a lot of people really playing a lot. That it was like the 100 to 200 range people were just like jamming game after game after game. Yeah. Then the people in top 100 didn't want to play because we're just gonna wait here.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you get that a good spot, you just squat there and you're safe. I mean, for the most part, right? That's some serious Watchstone there. Saiyan should have done Watchstone during all of that. That would have been great to see. But anyways, congrats on getting in. You know, we'll definitely talk about it in a second. But as for me, Hearthstone wise, you know, I've just been trying to obviously just play the decks that we're going to talk about today, of course. And I was going to try the Tavern Brawl, but I never got a chance to do it. So I was going to do that actually today and tomorrow, kind of get those packs and all those things. Have you done the Tavern Brawl at all? You know, just that new one?
Yeah, I have. Is it still up?
Any fun?
I did it a couple days ago.
Okay. I think it's a different one every week. So you can get.
I did the one where you choose like your lower.
Champion. Right. So there's a different. Apparently, there's a different choice, I think, each week. So yeah, so you're supposed to do it 3 times. Yeah. Okay. So I missed.
Paladin was OP. I just
Paladin was OP. Okay.
Won 3 games in a row with it. It was just
too easy.
Busted.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to. Well, obviously Paladin probably won't be available this week, but
might be different now.
Yeah. But I was gonna try it out this week for sure. But there's extra pack. I missed out on the obviously the free pack that they offered last time. Yeah.
I usually don't play Tavern Brawl, but the reward was too good.
Yeah, definitely, really great this time around.
Oh, so yeah, different. It'll probably have different shrines, but the Paladin shrine from last week was why it was whenever you cast a spell and another minion cast it on the shrine.
Right.
And that was full of like Blessing of Kings and like Spike Rich Steed.
Yeah, that's the dreams, right?
Like, I have 2 steeds now.
Yeah, that's so good. Definitely so good. Okay, well, let's see. Anything else in terms of Hearthstone that I was doing? Mostly just that. Mostly just, you know, playing around with some of these decks and, you know, definitely had some fun. Had a lot of fun. It's always fun playing a deck that you haven't played that archetype in like a long time, like a year or like lots of months, or it's something completely new. And I you know, the preset we're going to talk about today, there's definitely a couple new cards I hadn't played before, which you know, it's always cool to kind of experience the Fire Tree Witch Doctor. Like I never played that until like I started playing this deck. So that was definitely cool. But other than that, yeah, it's just pretty quiet week, at least in terms of, you know, I think my play. You know, definitely balancing this and auto chess addiction. So have you played at all or no? Are you just a pure Hearthstone person?
I haven't played, but it is honestly mostly because I was busy with the Wild Open.
Yeah, it's probably smart of you not to.
I might try it. Yeah, I don't know anything about like Dota as is.
I didn't either. I didn't either, but you don't need to. You really don't need to. Just as long as you like, you know, understand the heroes. I still suck at it, so I'm still learning a little bit at a time when I can sneak a game in.
I usually try things like I'm not really like a person that follows hype trains or gets on trends, but I would be remiss if I didn't try something at least once.
Yeah.
Paladin, a couple games at some point here.
Paladin? What?
No, I'll download it.
Oh, download it. Download it.
You have to download it, right?
Yeah, you have to download Dota because it's actually in the arcade. So
gotcha.
It's like an arcade game. Okay, well, why don't we talk about some of the news this week? There was a couple tweets that I thought were pretty interesting. The first one being from the eSports team. And it was mostly just about the fact that they've delayed the announcement. And, you know, not much to really go in depth here, but, you know, I think the fact that, you know, we saw obviously the layoffs that happened last week and a few of them, at least, it's involved the esports team. Maybe even a good number of them. I don't know the exact number, but for sure there were a number of layoffs on the esports team. This, I guess, isn't that surprising that they need a little bit of time to maybe figure out, how the team's going to, I guess, move forward with it. But what's your thoughts, Nicholena? Like, do you think this is going to actually affect what 2019 they had planned, or do you think that it's just more, the reorg and trying to figure that out?
It's tough to say. I know that a lot, like the people that were cut, weren't aware that was going to happen, or they didn't have any signals, or like, of course they didn't know, but there's two possibilities, right? One is that we'll see like further cuts to the whole program, and like we won't have as many tournaments. But I also think that the thing that they already did announce, which is the 3 global tournaments, events, that was already a cut on the amount of events that were run previously last year. So it's possible that, hey, maybe they just don't need all the organizational staff for these events because there's only 3. I don't know. Maybe they're contracting out tournament production.
Oh, that's true. That's potential.
And they don't want an in-house team. It could be a bunch of different things. So I don't know. I could see it going a couple of different ways.
Yeah, I'm definitely hoping that you're right in terms of, maybe.
I'm optimistic.
I think I'm optimistic as well too. Like I think that the fact that they've announced something, I mean, in retrospect, they're probably happy now that they didn't announce the whole entire thing with the layoffs happening now. But I'm a little bit scared that something like total prize money might be reduced because the reason for some of these cuts I think was more budgetary than anything else. And this kind of makes me think back to the whole survey they asked too, about would you still follow Hearthstone if the esports wasn't there, and at the time this happened like a few months ago. I don't know if you remember it or not. Like they said, and at the time it was just kind of like, oh, it feels like a normal survey, right? Like this is the kind of thing that I think every single group, or game in Blizzard or the community would ask just to know, if like where they stand, I guess, in terms of the game and how important esports is. But I don't know. It makes me think back to it a little bit, especially in terms of where some of the cuts were, and I hope it doesn't. This isn't a sign of anything, in the future, like Heroes of the Storm type of future, where the esports just is going to be gone.
At the time, I had a different take on it than I think most people. At the time, I felt it was a bit of an overreaction by people generally, because I didn't get the survey, but from what I read of people who did get the question, it was more worded like, if there isn't a official Hearthstone tournament in the next month, will you play Hearthstone in that month?
Oh,
so
okay. I didn't realize it was like that.
I on Reddit read that translation. That was actually what it was supposed to, what it said. But I guess I don't know.
Oh, well, that would make more sense, right? Having fewer events. Right?
Yeah, and that's why I was like, oh, well, this just is going along with their plan, saying like, well, we're only having 3 events a year. So if there's no, I think they were basically saying, if there's no event to prepare for, would you still play?
Yeah. It's a really good question too. Especially for the pro players, right? Like what is there to do for these people right now? And so this should be happening. Oh, is it Friday? Is it Friday or is it like Monday? Like the actual announcement, I believe, is either.
Did they schedule it? I thought they just said it's postponed. Did they give a day that it's?
I thought they gave a day. I thought they said maybe it was just postponed, but I remember seeing like it was the 23rd or the 22nd or something like that. It just
says more information on our plans for the 2019 season.
Yeah, that's all it says, right? So
later this week,
Yeah, I don't know where I saw that day. It might have been like on Reddit or something like that. Yeah. Well, somebody says like it should be tomorrow. Okay.
I guess they're doing I don't know if you heard this, but they're doing a call with the Masters players to ask them their opinion on presumably the potential format. So I don't think the announcement is that it's canceled, because I don't think they would be having this meeting asking about the next format.
Yeah, so Panchuk Cholk, is it Cholk? in chat reminded me that it was Tom that tweeted it earlier this week, because Tom was on the show last week. Tom Mathisen, and he's a journalist writer. He tweeted that he got an email that basically said that it was going to be a couple days later. So I think that it should be tomorrow then that we find out about it. But if you're right about them talking about to the Masters play, I mean, if they are indeed going to be talking to the Masters play, that's pretty late.
It was supposed to be, I think the meetings with the Masters players were like yesterday and today.
Oh, okay.
So it's still possible that it could be tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So
they might just be asking for like last minute feedback. Like,
yeah,
is there anything really terrible with our plan that we didn't see or something?
We may be getting another tweet that, hey guys, it's another delay in terms of the competitive format, if it ends up not being really good, right?
Yeah.
Well, anyways, hopefully it's something good. It's not, nothing bad here. Hopefully everything is pretty much going as planned. But excited to hear about what the new format is. By far the most important thing for me is just what the format's going to be. And I'm hoping it's something really fresh and great and cool. Next bit of news here is a tweet that Iksar, our good friend Iksar, who was on the show not too long ago, tweeted out, and it had a lot to do with, people that have left Hearthstone and coming back to the game. And so he asked, if Hearthstone used to be your main game but isn't anymore, what would get you back? And I mean, it sounds like one of those questions from the survey, but, if it was sent out. But lots of good discussion in this thread. I think that you replied to it. I replied to it. I feel like everybody in the community replied to this. I figured we would talk about it, just at least me and you. So yeah, your thoughts, like what do you think it is? I mean, you're still your main game is still Hearthstone. So you're not, obviously one of these people, but
wasn't really directed at me, I guess.
Yeah. I'm not like my entire gaming time or majority of my time, I wouldn't say is Hearthstone at this point, but I still play. I definitely still play. Like there's no question about it. So I'm somewhere in between as well. But yeah, what's your take? Like if you were somebody who has left the game for whatever reason, what do you think would get people back into the game?
So yeah, I did make a tweet. It was a bit long, but I guess I could just go through like my thoughts quickly. So what I said in reply was, I think that Hearthstone could have more cosmetics similar to like Overwatch. I think a lot of people want that. Like we want more skins, for example. I gave like, I want to be Frostlich Jaina. Like, okay, if I don't have the OP ping and everything, but still just really, I think it adds a more personalized touch to the game when you can. When you personalize it.
It'd be cool if you could buy map skins.
Yes, I did that. I was like, more maps.
Board skins. Yeah.
You could buy. There's so many things you could do. Board skins, alternate intros, alternate victory scenes, possibly. Like, don't we all get tired of hearing and like seeing the victory? They could do something cooler for that, I think.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
You can have alternate animations for existing heroes. Also, like just a different little thing going on in the portrait.
Yeah. Just a little bit more customization, in terms of what you like, right? And seeing that. Yeah.
I think a lot of that. And I want the ability to move decks around too.
Yeah. Well, you mean like reorder them?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about cosmetics.
Yeah.
I can't. I hate that you can't change the order. And like rewards for hitting milestones over 500 wins.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people want that. Like if we could do winged hero power borders, like Overwatch style again.
I feel like that's such an easy thing to do too.
So easy, yeah.
I've been surprised. Like they don't just like up the counter, right? Just up the counter to 1,000 instead of 500 and do something special. Whatever it is, right?
So easy.
I know. But
more card backs, maybe like card backs you can buy.
Yeah.
Whatever. I put like custom unlockable emotes. So you could like change around your emote slots. Like I got most of these ideas from Overwatch. You can change like what you're doing.
Right. That's true.
Better rewards for higher finishes in Legend. I think a lot of people want that too.
Oh yeah. I mean, you got to incentivize people to play ladder. I mean, you got to do something, right? If you're going to take away the high end of it, then nobody's wants to play ladder right now. So
yeah, like give top 100 something.
Yeah.
For that finish. Like otherwise, what's the difference between rank 5,000 and rank 1?
Right. I mean, it should be one of those things where if you finish top 100 like 5 times or 10 times, 10 seasons or 15 seasons, 20 seasons, you get these very, very recognizable, it could be card bag or it could be whatever, right? Something that you can totally flaunt around and, show off that, you're a 20-time top 100 person. I mean, that'd be obviously pretty rare for a lot of folks, there'd probably only be like a few hundred of those, maybe. So I think that would be really, really cool too.
I agree.
Yeah, one of the things I was mentioning, and I was a little surprised, and actually I didn't end up tweeting until after I saw some of these replies from folks like Frodan and even like Fino, and a lot of people obviously were saying tournament mode is a big thing. And I think that tournament mode is a very big thing. And they were saying like they didn't actually think that it was as big of a deal. And I think that it's super important. And of all the things for tournament mode, I actually don't necessarily think that's the standard tournament mode would be as impactful as an arena tournament mode. I think an arena tournament mode would be, that type of competitive environment that has the variance that people that play auto chess right now, people play like games like auto chess and whatnot, and they like that element of it could have the same type of thing in Hearthstone, where it's like the RNG is like not so bad. It's like you have the RNG of your draft, but it's okay because you're like in this kind of environment where you're like you're playing in a tournament versus just playing 1v1 like 12 times or whatever it is. So I think that sort of thing could bring people back. I think it needs to be something significant. If somebody left, I don't think it can be, just tweaks to what they currently have. I think it has to be like something crazy new, like something they would add to Hearthstone 2 if it came out, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think that also, I honestly, I'm kind of on like the same opinion as like Fino, because I saw his tweet too.
Yeah.
I don't really think I really personally don't care about tournament mode. I think that the beauty of Hearthstone is that part of it, the beauty of it is that it's a really individual game. You don't need to queue up with a team. You don't need to, you could play one game and then go walk away and do something else. You could play a game on your phone in the car. I mean, I understand that you could still do that. And this is just an option for players who want to do something more like, all right, I'm sitting here committing to a tournament for X amount of time. But I just don't think that's the kind of flavor that maybe they want for the game, and possibly that's why they haven't done it. I'm not sure. Yeah. Also, a tournament mode, I don't know, would it require communication between players? Do they have to open up chatting in it?
Well, so hopefully it wouldn't, right? It would just be one session. And I think tournament mode in my mind isn't like this crazy 64-man tournament. Like it's nothing that huge. It would be more like, 8-man tournaments, maybe even just 4-man tournaments. It's just something that creates a different type of competitive mode than what we currently have, which is just a 1v1 ladder, type of thing. And
how is it really different than ladder though? Because aren't you still 1v1ing people?
Well, I mean, obviously the prizing for winning, I think would be significant for. Yeah, I mean, I would think that you would get some kind of gold or something for it. Maybe like the tournament mode would be you have to pay gold to enter into it, like or something like that. Okay. But I mean, it could be free too. I mean, there's obviously all kinds of different versions of it, but it is a very significant type of change, to what has always been ladder only, for the most part. It's either nothing or it's ladder only, right?
That's true. The more game modes, I think it can't hurt. I'm not particularly like interested in it, but it can't be bad, and like a lot of people want it. So like,
I think PvE too. I think PvE would be amazing. Like there's potential for innovation there that I don't think they've done at all. Which it'd be awesome to be able to play with your friends. If you want to, right? You can play with your friends and go and do like raids with cards. Like you're just using the cards to do all these things essentially. So there's a lot there, and the fact that Dean's asking this or Iksar's asking this question means that they're trying to figure out a way to user acquisition, right? Trying to get more people, because Hearthstone's been around a while. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I had other things beyond cosmetics that I think
what
could be done. Just a couple other things. So features, I think that these are small things that you're kind of right there. My thoughts are more targeted against someone who's still currently playing, not coming back. But the ability to queue a random deck, I think, would be such a good idea. Like a random deck out of the decks that I have built, because I think it would really help streamers. Huge thing. Because I think, like, of course, tournament would be cool, but yes, someone in chat made the point, like, it's still the same game. We're still playing the same game. Are we going to, like, love the game more because we can play it in a tournament? Probably not. So there's other things that need to be done.
Yeah, I mean, I think the tournament element, like, if you're just isolating just the tournament part of it, that's and that's kind of why I didn't really talk about standard, because like if it's a standard tournament, then it's like it's pre-made decks. I mean, it's the decks we play every single day and everything. That's not as interesting. But if you have the arena variants, which the drafting variants, or the I don't know, it might be a limited version or something like that, then you have a different scenario. If you feel like every time you enter into this tournament, it feels different. And matching up against like a very small pool of people is a lot different than just matching up against every single arena person, that's playing right this second. It just feels a little different. So
like a different draft style, like more like the Magic style, where it's like a pack and then you pick.
And there's RNG involved, right? But it doesn't feel bad. It's just kind of like, no, I mean that it's okay, because we know that everybody's doing it, and every once in a while you're gonna get like a crazy broken OP deck, and then every once in a while you're gonna get a terrible deck, and that's part of the dynamic element to it. And I'm after playing these Hearthstone for so long now, and this is like my very first card game, and getting to experience some of the other card games, one thing I'm realizing is that variance is actually really, really important to keeping people interested in the game, and like playing the same decks over and over and over and over again. Like for sure, people will just get tired of doing that.
I can't tell you how sick I am of Odd Pally. I think I got into it. I'm like, how can you still play this?
Exactly. That's how I feel too. Yeah, exactly.
So long. But so Arena is my favorite game mode right now, actually. It became my favorite. I think it's definitely the most interesting, because you're right, every time it's a different deck, and it's a bad deck, but you could win because everyone's deck is bad, so you get to play other cards.
No, totally. And and one of the things that we've never been able to do, like a true, or we've never been free to do whatever we want in terms of events for Arena, is because we have the limitations of the game. The game doesn't allow you to have 5 fireballs, or anything like that. But if you allowed for it, and it was a competitive environment, oh my God, that'd be so fun, dude. That'd be so amazing.
Be the worst thing ever.
You'd be surprised. I bet people would actually lose with 5 fireballs. I have a feeling.
That's 5 fireballs.
That'd be funny. Yeah, for sure.
I also, a couple more things. I think that shorter turns would be a huge.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God, I want
shorter turns. For sure. That's the one great thing about auto chess, by the way. I don't know if you knew that or not, but the turns are all 30 seconds, and there is so much to do in the 30 seconds that it almost becomes an APM thing. Like people or you need to think about your turns before the turn, and you just need to be super efficient with those 30 seconds. And
it would add more skill to the game.
Yeah, for sure it would.
Easier for people to watch and for casters to
not
have to fill like silly amounts of downtime with off-topic discussions.
No, I think Hearthstone events are most entertaining when mistakes happen. And it kind of sounds bad because the pro players, you want to see perfection. I feel the opposite. Like I mean, I'm impressed when people make great plays under the circumstances, but that's not what I'm after. I'm not after watching people that make the absolute best play. I'm more about seeing who can manage the situation the best. And mistakes have ended up resulting in some of the most entertaining matches in Hearthstone history. So
definitely up to a point I agree, of course. But because if we wanted to watch the highest percentage play every single time, and it would just be boring. It'd be like there'd be no individuality to any kind of play style. But shortening the turns can add that'd
be so fun.
Players.
Yeah. And it's something they could, I mean, they could just like lower by 30 seconds right now.
Yeah.
Let's just see what happens, right? 60 seconds. Let's just see what happens. Yeah. I think it would be pretty cool. Just even lowering it to 60 seconds. Be fun.
Yeah. And then, so I think it also, Hearthstone needs a better dust economy. It's all fun and good saying, oh, we want people to play more decks and more cards and whatnot, but it's very expensive. Like I play it constantly, all the time, and I put money into it even, and I can't make every deck. I don't have every card, and I'm a streamer, and I feel like I should be able to do that.
Yeah, no, I'm actually surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, I guess, yeah, unless you're playing. I mean, even Arena, like even Infinite Arena, I think
you don't need the cards when you get it. That's the thing. Like Arena players have all the gold and they don't need it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So maybe more than 100 gold for whatever it is per day. You're capped out on ladder at 100 gold. You can earn more than 100 gold in Arena per day.
Yeah, that's definitely good. Yeah, I think if they doubled the dust, that would feel more fair. To be honest, like doubled what it is right now, I think that would be really good.
It would also encourage more creative deck building because, again, like you have Odd Pally, you build Odd Pally. Do you want to dust Odd Pally? So you're just going to keep playing it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, those are definitely great. I'm sure Iksar's taking all these in, you know, and the whole team is listening to these things. It's just, you know, a lot of these things aren't new things. You know, a lot of these things we've been saying, especially the achievements, you know, or just you know, things so that the people that have already finished all the 500 for each class could continue doing. It's something simple like that. People have been saying for a long time. So I think we just would like to just see something change. I mean, anything change with the existing, you know, game. And it's not like, you know, adding something to PvE to the expansion, you know, PvE stuff. It's more to the like the base fundamental game. Like just change something to it, something major to it. That would be great to see.
Yeah, there's also like all the design points that I think most people have focused on. Like we don't want Gen and Baku anymore.
Yeah, like, though they're definitely but they're definitely actively doing stuff there now. Like I feel like
I do like the nerfs. I think frequent nerfs are good. And I think that they shouldn't be afraid to nerf stuff, which is also what I said in mine, because you know what, sometimes it's like a pretty innovative game, like a digital card game. So it should be in flux, I think. But I think they also shouldn't be afraid to nerf like big cards. Like Gen and Baku were like the cornerstone of the set. And like they're the big legendaries from the big thing from the set. And so the Death Knights and Death Knights didn't get touched. And Gen and Baku didn't get touched because they didn't want to like kind of admit that idea didn't really pan out that well.
Yeah. It's hard to say. We asked Iksar this question in terms of of Gen and Baku. I mean, I asked in a very indirect way that, you know, basically, do they regret making those cards, you know, kind of thing. But, you know, in the end, I think it's very clear that they're trying to figure out how to change it right now. You know, I don't think it's very hard to, or very easy to change given whatever parameters are working in, you know, like in terms of the hero power. They still want it to be similar, right, to the, just to what they currently are, but they just, you know, they don't want to just change them to completely new things, which I think be fine. I think it'd be completely fine to change it, make them brand new hero powers and just whatever's balanced, right?
Yeah, I agree.
But
balance first over consistency.
Yeah. Can you imagine, like, one thing, just kind of last point here, can you imagine what this year would have been like if Baku and Gen didn't exist though? It might have been terrible, to be honest. Like we might not have seen anything new. Like, because none of those decks, maybe, I mean, the Rush we're kind of seeing at least appearing now, but you know, like what other deck would have?
I think those decks really obliterated any decks that maybe had a chance because.
You think so? Okay.
I think it's destroyed mid-range decks, right? It's like you're a full control / with a full control with a combo finisher, or you're an aggro deck, or you're not gonna.
But do you think the mech stuff and Boomsday and the Rush stuff and Witchwood, and then now, you know, what we're seeing in Rastakhan. Maybe Rastakhan has the most potential given some of the crazy stuff that you can do there.
I like the mechs and the Rush mechanic because I prefer games that involve board control and create more decisions. So I think that having those cards be defining the meta would be positive. Positive.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean,
I hate decks like Makathun. I can't like. I don't think that card that's going to be a problem. If they don't print a disruption card, it's going to be an even bigger problem than it already is.
Yeah, the Mechathune decks and you know, some of these OTK, you know, one of the questions we asked last week or a couple weeks ago too was just, you know, why are there so many OTK decks now? And I mean, his answer was basically because we made too many infinite resource cards like Deathstalker Rexar, you know, things like that. So they had to do something like that. That makes sense. Hopefully now that they're going to be removing that, then we'll probably see some changes to the OTK stuff as well.
I really hope so.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I hate waiting around till I get OTK'd.
Oh gosh, tell me about it.
Okay. Anyway.
But all right, so let's move on to the Wild Open. Before we do, I just want to let folks know that we're sponsored by actually a couple people this week. But first one being Robinhood, which is an investment app that lets you buy and sell stocks, ETFs, options, and cryptos, all commission free. While other brokerages charge you $10 for every trade, Robinhood doesn't charge any commission fees, so you can trade stocks and keep all your profits. Plus, there's no account minimums or deposits needed to get started. You can start investing at any level. The simple, intuitive design of Robinhood makes investing easy for newcomers and experts alike. So view easy to understand charts and market data and place a trade in just 4 taps of your smartphone. And you can also see, kind of view stocks in collections, such as like the 100 most popular stocks. With Robinhood, you can learn how to invest in the market as you build your portfolio, discover new stocks, track your favorite companies, and get custom notifications for price movements so you never miss the right moment to invest. Right now, Robinhood is giving listeners of Valuetown a free stock, like a stock of Apple or Ford or Sprint, to help you start your portfolio in Robinhood. And the way they do it is like, they're these little loot box looking things and they all just get jumbled, and you click on one of them and then all of a sudden like a stock appears. It's pretty cool. But you can sign up at value.robinhood.com today and try that out. Okay, so Wild. So the Wild Open happened, and this is the Wild tournament that we've been talking about for a couple months now, where, you know, we just mentioned earlier in the show, you had to finish top 100 on the Wild ladder to qualify for it. And then everybody plays in this tournament, this Open Swiss tournament, and the top 2 from each region move on to like a finals, which will happen actually this weekend. So Nicholena participated in the Swiss rounds, you know, qualified and was able to participate there. So how'd you do in the whole thing?
I went 4-3.
Okay.
Yeah. So okay, I think it was like top 30 or top 25 or something like that.
Okay, yeah, not too bad. So was 5-2 good enough, or 6-1 was pretty much what you had to get to?
5-2 was on the bubble. I think 2 or 3 made it or something like that. Okay. So it'd be dependent on the opponent's resistance. So, but I did play to the last round. I was 4-2, so I was like, okay, if I win the last one, I have a chance.
Yeah.
I had I played against Dr. J, who ended up winning. So he was in my resistance. So I had some like opponents that did decently well. Mm-hmm.
So you got unlucky, is basically what you said.
Yeah. I didn't like the format. I really like Wild in general, first of all, so I'll just say that.
So you didn't like the Swiss format, or what do you mean?
I didn't like the best of 3 conquest.
Oh yeah, best of 3 conquest. Yeah.
It felt a little random to me. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I mean, there's always randomness, so. Yeah. But I also think that my lineup, I should have went with aggro, because the successful lineups, obviously,
these are all aggro, like, basically.
But see, playing on Wild for the past 2 months, I feel like I played Wild probably more than a lot of people did, because I got like 2 servers to Wild Legend, and I played like the month prior, so I was pretty like beat the Wild meta.
Right.
And it was mostly Reno decks. It was mostly like greedy stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anti-aggro stuff too. And yeah, there's a lot of strong aggro decks, but then I think so I thought that people would go that way. They'd be bringing.
That's so interesting. I would have thought it matched that, but I guess not.
Then, I think what happened is the standard players that jammed aggro on the last couple of days and qualified and brought their all aggro lineups, because that's
right.
It felt a little bit harder to get into the more like combo decks than Wild, I guess, and the control decks. But it's King's Bane Rogue is what I saw most standard players getting their ranks with, and it's just super powerful and fast, and I should have considered that. So,
wow, that's such an interesting phenomenon, you know, to have like a last minute meta switch, like really come into play on the ladder, and then it obviously flooded into the event itself. Oh, some of the people in the chat are wondering like how they missed it or whatnot. It wasn't streamed, guys. So only the finals will be streamed this week, which is a real big bummer. It's like, why?
Yeah, like we all worked top 100.
Yeah, there's nothing going on either. Like, why wouldn't you stream it? So,
I agree.
That's
you didn't even know it happened. Yeah, like you didn't know it happened.
Yeah. We were even talking about it last week. I didn't even realize it happened until you mentioned it. So, what decks did you end up bringing?
I brought Cube Block, which is, in my opinion, the best deck in Wild.
Yeah, Cube Block's good.
It got banned every time.
Okay.
And I brought like a Death Rattle Egg Paladin, like an aggro. It's not odd or even, but it plays like Call to Arms and
Oh gosh, you banned one. Oh, okay. Now best of 3 is coming. Okay, I'm starting to realize what it is.
It's only 2 decks.
That's terrible. That's really bad. That's like the kind of thing I do at my firesides. It's
like give us specified at least one. We can.
Right. Okay.
I don't know, especially because it wasn't streamed. I don't know why there's this limitation on the game, on the format. Like we had all the time we wanted.
So what are the 2 that you ended up with?
Death Rattle, like it was a Death Rattle Paladin. It's like aggro Paladin with eggs, and it plays like bow with them, and it plays like Nerubian egg, and it buffs the egg.
Oh, that's cool.
It also plays the Call, the new legendary, and Molten Giants. That's a pretty insane combo that you can.
What's the Call? Which one?
Okay, the Call, he converts all of your health to armor.
Yeah.
So leaves with 1 health, and then Molten Giant costs less for the amount, like the amount of damage your hero is taking. You can play it for 0 on turn 3.
Wow. Okay. That makes a lot of sense now.
So
yeah. Okay.
And then my 3rd deck was Big Priest, and this was my thought process. This is a high roll format. This is a high roll like best of 3.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna bring high roll decks that are just they have something that happens if you get that thing. You
just auto win. Yeah, basically.
You spell on 5, or you get like Cube Block. It's really good. It's way better than the other 2 decks, but it's still kind of high roll.
So are you playing Barnes?
On 5, you're gonna win.
You playing Barnes? Okay.
I did.
All right.
Like, that deck felt the worst to me. I wish I didn't bring that.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's regarded as one of the strongest decks, right?
Draw Barnes on board. That's a 70% chance.
Yeah, exactly. It's like an auto win if you draw Barnes. So
why not give yourself that? And it's also really good versus. It can be good versus aggro. It can be good versus control, because you just hit him in the face with Ragnaros every single turn. Or 8. What can I do?
Forgot what that feels like, man. Actually analyze about the.
Then you have priest cards, so you have all the removal. You can. Mass Hysteria, Psychic Scream.
Yeah.
There's so much priest removal in Wild, it's actually nutty. With Dragonfire Potion.
Yeah, I would expect, I would think that deck would do pretty decently against aggro. But of course, aggro can get the nuts too as well.
It just depends, Aggro's super strong in Wild as well.
Yeah, yeah. So
I was just going to ban Kingsbane Rogue and try to punish greedy decks.
Was there Kingsbane in this? Is this just not labeled Kingsbane in these? Like, is odd? I mean, these are... Is the odd Kingsbane? I don't think so, right? Like, I don't see Kingsbane in it.
They might have brought odd. Yeah, they might not have even brought Kingsbane. But Kingsbane is one of the most popular decks on Wild Ladder. So I expected a lot of it. But Odd Rogue is still pretty good in Wild. But
yeah, look at these lineups. I mean, these lineups are like pure aggro, except for Q-Block. And
Q-Block's just good.
And the Big Priest. There's one Big Priest here. Yeah, so.
And also, like, I was like, this meta is going to be impossible to predict even, so I just made my best guess, but every lineup I played was different. I played against, like, so many different decks.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's to be expected.
I played against a Mill Rogue, like.
Oh, no, yeah.
I played against a Jade Druid. You played against, everyone had.
Oh, my God, Jade Druid, you get so owned if you played Jade Druid. That'd be wild to see. But that's wild for you, right? Anything is on the table, and whatever trend just happens at that moment, this ends up being the right way to go. It feels so much more exaggerated in Wild than it is in like a standard event. So
a lot of variety. So I was like, there's no way I can predict this.
Yeah.
So high roll time.
I think it was a good strategy. Like like you said, Wild still has the capability, or has the from a balance standpoint, it's not checked. You can have these decks that literally give you auto wins, and that Barnes. Yeah, what was the percentage you said? It's like
70%.
70%.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
For an HS replay.
Yeah, just because you have the first 4 turns, right, to draw it.
Yeah.
So, oh man, that's crazy. That's amazing. But hopefully they do this more though, you know, more than once or twice a year. I mean, I feel like they could at least do this every quarter and, you know, just make this worthwhile. Yeah, definitely. Sounds like
I liked playing WoW. I had a ton of fun.
Yeah, even if it's not Blizzard doing this, maybe let somebody else do it, you know, like if they don't want to do it, that'd be great.
I thought the WoW community was super nice and like welcoming and supportive of being like newcomer to WoW, I guess.
In terms of
for WoW players, we're pretty like welcoming of the whole thing, I think.
Like where? Like on Reddit or like
Twitch? I don't do Reddit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on Twitch. I got to like meet a lot more players and streamers than I didn't know before because I was didn't really pay attention to WoW like most people.
Yeah, kind of open your eyes just to the whole community. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. There's like a subsection, like a small WoW community.
Yeah, I think they have their own subreddit too. So,
probably. Yeah.
Just like Arena has their own as well. Yeah, we always forget that. Well, us, or at least us standard snobs. Like
yeah. So yeah,
maybe it's just not you, but more
they used to be me. I used to be like, I'm never playing wild. I dust every wild card.
Right. But we'll see who ends up winning it this week. These 6 players, are going to be competing. So is it Lojum, Sarasu, Sphinx, Manatee, Dr. J, of course, that we know, Jarla actually as well. Player 671, which no idea who that guy is. But
I don't know anyone except for Dr. J and Jarla.
I hope that a control lineup wins. I hope it's like something completely different, and we get to see some crazy stuff with the control lineups.
Yeah.
Let's see, what player 6-1 has a dragon combo priest? Okay. I guess
because of all the aggro, so that's probably why that is successful.
Yeah.
And a Shutterwalk. The crazy thing about that lineup to me is probably the Shutterwalk.
Yeah. I wonder, what would you have banned against that guy?
Let me think about...
That's a tough decision.
Assuming that he would ban my face. Not even secret made. Oh God, it's tough.
Yeah.
Q-Block's good versus Shutterwalk already, and Q-Block's good versus Dragon.
Yeah, Q-Block seems like it's good against multiple, like both, at least 2 of his decks.
People either ban the Q-Block or the Paladin.
I don't think it's that bad against Secret Mage either, Q-Block.
No, because it's actually pretty good against it in Wild. You have the Void Caller, which you can just play into explosive runes and like get Mal'Ganis out of your hand.
Yeah, that sounds disgusting. Disgusting good. Okay, well, let's see. Well, what do we talk? Let's talk about standard math. So it's transitioned over from Wild to standard, and let me bring it up. Okay, so we're going to be talking a couple decks that I noticed in the meta. We can kind of show the meta generally here. Let me bring it up real quick, and then we'll go into a couple decks. One of them was a little bit higher earlier in the week, and then it kind of settled a little bit lower, like now that we're looking at later or at least closer to the show, which was the Rush Warrior. The Rush Warrior was like tier 1 like before the weekend or something like that, and then now it's dropped a lot, like towards almost 50% now. But so I was trying that out, but tier 1 maybe even a day or 2 ago only had, with the same type of filtering, only had like 2 or 3 decks in it. Now it has like 7 decks in it today. So things are just like rapidly going up and down, maybe a percentage or 2. And
I feel like sometimes you do see that with HS Replay. Like every once in a while, you see like Murloc Mage being tier 1 or something like that, and be like, "What the heck? Where did that come from?" Yeah, and then it goes away in like a couple of days. I don't really know what happens there, to be honest.
Well, I mean, obviously, I was with Hearthstone for a while, so there's a combination of a couple things when things like that happen. It can be some decks just don't have enough games. Some archetypes just don't have enough games, so they don't really qualify as counting. Because what they do show, or they try to show things that have enough sample size to it. So that can happen, and also like there are a lot of good decks that again just don't have enough games, but are actually super good, and people don't realize it. Whenever you do see that flux, and when a nerf happens or when a new expansion comes out, you actually see these decks be able to shine. But one deck that I wanted to talk about, we can talk about the Rush Warrior in a second. Where is it? It's like, yeah, it's way down here now. So maybe it's not considered. It's an interesting deck though. And this is like one of those decks I think that could have been good if Ganyanbaku wasn't around. So
absolutely,
maybe it's worth talking about now, because I was actually winning with it. I was climbing with it a little bit when I was playing it. And then, so we can talk about it a little bit. It's, okay, here we go. So we've got a classic Prince Keleseth, because, you know, what's a deck without Prince Keleseth in it while it's still around? But, you know, it's got a lot of the, you know, I would say a lot of the Witchwood elements that we really liked. And it's a very Witchwood slash Boomsday, I think, centric type of deck. And then it's got a couple cards from this region, like a Kali and the Sphere of the Rhino. But overall, you know, I think this is a deck that represents this year pretty well, you know, and it's Warrior, which is one of the classes that doesn't have that much diversity right now. But did you get a chance to play this at all? I think I might have mentioned it to you, so you maybe ran a couple games of this.
I didn't play it, and that's because I don't have the cards for it.
Oh,
like
that's right.
I cannot craft every card, and I decided against this one because I had a feeling it wasn't actually going to be that strong, and I wasn't going to ever. I probably just wouldn't get that much use out of like Countess Ashmore.
Yeah, which, man, Countess Ashmore, that is a travesty.
I didn't want to craft Ashmore.
That is a travesty that card is not played, because when I was playing this deck, I was like, damn, draw 3 cards with, like, you know, 6 draw 3 cards on turn 7. That's like ridiculous.
It'll probably be really good after the rotation.
Yeah,
it's newish, right?
Yeah, it's still pretty new, but this is a perfect example of when meta completely shuts out a crazy powerful card. Yeah, and that's kind of like where we are right now. But yeah, this card, I mean, this deck was pretty cool. I mean, I haven't been a huge fan of the shrines for the most part, and this, you know, I have to say, this one, given that you can have a turn 1 play, you know, you can kind of choose. Like, usually the Rhino play is like something you want to combo, you know, with a rush minion, but you can kind of get a decent amount of tempo with this deck, surprisingly, in the beginning, just with even just the 1-drops, and, you know, if you can get Keleseth into the Berserker, probably Berserker's still super good. Like, it hasn't changed. You know, like, it's always been a pretty big mainstay in whatever tempo warrior we've had historically. And so that one's still pretty good too. But, you know, having your rush minions be invincible can be a nice little swing for you, you know, if you get a chance to do it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you know, I don't think it's obviously powerful enough, you know, compared to like some of the priests that we're seeing right now. And, you know, obviously
I'll tell you why.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So if you look at this deck, it has even and odd cards in it.
Oh God. Okay.
And if you look at it, it doesn't have an OTK.
Okay, so it comes down to that basically. It doesn't have infinite value. Well, I guess the Lich King lives forever. It's got an infinite value, but it doesn't got infinite value. It doesn't got OTK, and you're right. It doesn't have Ben and Conjugate. There's like the 3 things, things. Yeah, I mean, it's like a flow chart. It's got like got to be one of these 3 things.
Yes, like, do you have this?
Right.
If yes, proceed to, or check.
Right. Okay. That's very, very
then
true.
you could win a ladder.
Yeah.
At the bottom.
It's a pretty fun deck. It's actually pretty good against the aggro decks, but there's a lot of good decks against aggro decks, and you know, compare this to them. You know, this isn't very good. So
it doesn't beat control decks.
Yeah, it is terrible against control decks.
Yeah.
So, but speaking of a deck that's, you know, definitely much better. And, you know, I know both of us were playing it some this week. You've actually played quite a bit of ranks with it. Is the Control Priest, or at least the Dragon Control Priest?
Super well with that right now. I think I have like, I think it's 67%-ish win rate.
Yeah, mine's in the 60s too with it. It's really, really good. So this is the version I was running. I'm not sure if it's the one that you were running, but it actually has an Omega Medic in it, which is I thought was really interesting. I'm
using Price's list. I don't have the Omega Medic. He has the second Crowd Roaster.
Oh yeah, dude, that's definitely one of the things I would switch it out with, because the Crowd Roaster is so good.
It's really good, and it doesn't have Tyson's doesn't have creepers, and it has another Holy Fire and another Scale Worm. It's just more dragons and burst.
Okay, yeah. So that's Tyson's version. I didn't realize.
I got it from his stream. I don't know if he got
it. Okay, cool.
But yeah, I stole it from there. So
yeah, but it's a dragon variant, which is really great to, you know, kind of be playing a dragon priest sort of thing. but super good against aggro. So I think this is like almost. I don't think I've lost to an aggro deck since I've been playing this deck.
Yeah.
Lost to just wall priests. Actually, not wall priests. I've lost to just big priests and.
I think I lost to an odd rogue though.
An odd rogue, yeah. I mean, some of those could have gone either way though. Like I felt like with the games I had,
it gets a bit dicey sometimes.
Yeah. But the wall priest, surprisingly, like if you can avoid that turn where he throws down like 4 cards at once that are just huge, you can steal like their 2/14s and stuff like that with this deck, which is really cool.
It's really good. I think Cabal Shadow Priest is really good right now in this format.
Yeah,
because
crazy.
Of that and the other things, it's just. I found it one of the stronger cards in the deck.
You don't even need a Twilight Acolyte right now.
No,
it's surprising. Yep. Yeah, really cool. But
no one plays around it either because it's kind of tough to. You have to have a lot of mana, or you have to have 9 mana.
Yeah.
You have to have a dragon in hand, and you have to have those 2 cards in hand. So most people, I think, myself included, would be like, okay, that's like a fringe play that they're probably not going to make. So they'll play the Lich King on 8, and I'll steal Lich King on 9.
Yeah. No, that's definitely cool. What do you think about Fire Tree Witch Doctor? Like, this is one card that I never played until now.
That was a card I was thinking about cutting and seeing how it goes without for like something else. I'm not sure about it. It's really good when it gives you Mind Blast, but it can give you really bad stuff. And I found myself getting a lot of like not using
circle
it,
healings and
not using it, or just getting something that I didn't ever use anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it's
I'm always getting Psionic Probe and Mind Vision and
really. Oh, okay. I never
like that.
Those. Yeah.
Stuff feel like I don't have time to play that.
Right. I have to say it's kind of nice playing something on 2 though, as a priest. Like you typically don't want to play Radiant Elemental on 2, so
you want to trade your cleric and heal.
Okay, sure. But nobody. I mean, the good players do not play anything. The good players don't play anything when you throw a cleric down. So, it's going to, probably not be available to you a lot of times. But
just shield it.
Which one? But if you should, I think we're going to probably do this for Deck of the Week this week because it's pretty straightforward too. I don't think this deck is very complicated to play as well. Curves pretty well, like pretty even distribution in terms of curve. And, Alex Straza, like I haven't found myself using Alex Straza much at all, surprisingly. Like I feel like either I'm doing too much damage to them, so it doesn't do anything, like in terms of damage, or I'm just using it as my dragon requirement.
That is something it does do well though.
Yeah. But I guess anything could do that. But
a lot of times it gets you should want to play the other dragons though, right?
Yeah, right.
You want to play the crowd roaster for value because otherwise you're going to get in a situation where like it has to be Drake or it's going to be crowd roaster, and then you never get value off the crowd roaster. But
yeah. That's true. Scale Worm, I've forgotten how good Scale Worm is. Scale Worm is actually really quite good.
Really good.
It's like was it the first Rush card? I don't know. It's before Rush, right? It was before Rush was a thing, right? I think they actually call it Rush now. Or was it actually Rush to begin with? Gosh, I'm not even remembering. Twitch chat can tell me. Twitch chat, you tell me. It was Rush actually originated from this card? I don't even remember. But because Rush was something that
the first one was Charged Devilsaur, but not really a Rush. Oh,
yeah, true. Okay, yeah. There's probably some other ones too that I just not.
I felt like that thing gave them the idea.
yeah, totally. Okay, but anyways, a really good deck here, guys. You can definitely climb with it. It's 52. I guess.
I recommend it.
Yeah,
it's fun. I think it's fun because I like decks that can adapt their strategy.
Yeah,
and options.
Yeah, it definitely has a lot of options with the just the ability to with Shadow Reaper Anduin at the end as well, and you've still got range with Mind Blast and Shadow Reaper Anduin, and you can just win with tempo. Like against those control decks, you just got to throw minions down, and you can eke out a win sometimes, which is really
Odd Warrior is tough, but
yeah.
I think I maybe only beat it once.
Yeah, I mean you literally just have to every turn throw something down. It doesn't matter Battlecry or not, whatever, just throw it down. It doesn't feel dirty too. Like, you know, Wall Priest, when you play Wall Priest, you kind of feel dirty sometimes. You know?
No, I like it. You get like you feel good after you win a game with like Anduin and stuff. Like, I don't know. Because it's kind of like you're setting up something. You're spending the whole game like building towards something, but that thing can go wrong. It's not like you're building up towards your Makathun, then if you do it, you win. Yeah. But like your opponent has ways they can play around your stuff too, so it feels more interactive. Yeah,
that's what I like. I mean, that's the type of Hearthstone that's the best, right? Like when you don't have like a very clear, definitive way of playing every single game once you enter it. You know, like you're still feeling your way out a little bit, and then you know you have these paths to choose, right? At the end, it's really cool that way.
Choose a path.
Yep, choose a path. The top three spots are Paladins, of course. I mean, they're pretty much the exact same here with the percentages. Secret Paladin was, I think, the ruler last time we looked, but Secret Paladin, by the way, was our deck. It was our deck of the week, and man, our win rate overall, just with the patrons and myself, it was like 71%.
Really? I haven't even tried that yet.
Really? This deck is crazy.
I don't own any of the secrets.
I can't believe you don't own the secrets. Is that, how are you not getting enough dust in gold to not?
Honestly, it's because I had to craft a lot of wild cards.
Oh, that's right.
Right now, so I'm just like big now.
Yeah, because
normally it'd probably be fine.
Yeah. I mean, the secret. There's not that many new secrets. It's like one or two.
I don't have the old ones.
You don't have the. Oh my god, you don't have Noble Sacrifice.
No,
dude, they're common. They're like nothing. They're like
times get desperate. I'm telling you. I have gold barns though, so that's weird.
Oh my god, sell that baby and then just like buy all these.
No, I gotta keep that.
Yeah, okay, it's like a relic. But, yeah. Anyways, Paladin, you know, even with the nerfs, it's still no problems. Like even Hunter, same thing. Nerfs still on top, but we're still, you know, we're seeing a lot more stuff in here. No shaman to be seen, or actually even shaman. It's about the only thing holding the entire class, carrying the torch for the class. That's all it's doing right now. Pretty sad for shamans right now.
Shaman.
Yeah. I break out the peanut shaman whenever I would just want to crush aggro from time to time, but that's about it. So, you know, it's still some flux going on. Obviously, this is like the toughest time, I think, in Hearthstone, that the last few weeks before the reset of the year and obviously the new expansion coming out. So hopefully we can still stay interested for the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and then go into the new season, which we should be hearing about it soon, right? Like I feel like we should be getting some news on it pretty soon.
It's good. I think it's going to be soon as well.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're going to move on here. Get your questions ready, guys. We're going to be doing some Q&A. Before we do, want to mention that we are also sponsored by ZipRecruiter today. And if you guys aren't familiar with ZipRecruiter, they are a hiring site, you know, a job website that is really, really great. You know, like hiring used to be hard, multiple job sites, stacks of resumes, confusing review processes. But if you use ZipRecruiter these days, like hiring can be super easy. And what ZipRecruiter does is it goes to over 100 websites, the leading job boards, and they basically aggregate them all for you on one single place, which is the ZipRecruiter website. And with powerful matching technology, ZipRecruiter scans all these thousands of resumes and finds the right people with the experience level that you're looking for, and then they just invite them to apply to your job. So as applications come in, ZipRecruiter analyzes each one and spotlights the top candidates for you as well. And they have effective rating of 80%, or no, sorry, their effective rating is 80% of employers that post on ZipRecruiters get quality candidates through the site within the first day, which is pretty insane. Because I don't know if you guys have ever tried to post before, but it usually takes like lots of days. So if you can find a candidate in one day, that's pretty impressive. But right now, for all the ValueTown listeners, you can try ZipRecruiter for free, and you go to ZipRecruiter.com/ValueTown. And again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/ValueTown. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. All right, so Q&A. Any questions you guys have, just go ahead and type them in the chat. We have a question from Kasai on Twitter. Original Shadowverse expansions include all the common, rare, and half of the epic and legendary cards. Then in the middle of the expansion, you get the rest. It makes a fresh meta, and it also very budget friendly. Do you think that this could help Hearthstone to do something like this as well? So half of the expansion comes out in the beginning, and then half of it comes out later. Which in a way is just like having 2 expansions. I mean, like, right? It's like two releases basically.
I think okay, so more frequent, smaller expansions.
Yeah.
I agree. I think I agree, because I think when an expansion comes out and has all the cards, a lot of them end up getting like lost in the shuffle, or if they're not the most powerful cards of the set, they don't get used, they don't get attention.
Yeah.
Why do those cards exist? Just like they're pack filler. So I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think so too. Like Nicholena was saying earlier, just more change, more dynamicy to, or just dynamics to the card pool, and just changing it constantly is the way to go. So yeah, they want to release like 10 cards every 2 weeks. I'm completely fine with that too. That'd be great. So,
as long as they up the gold.
Up the
gold. I won't be able to afford all these cards.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. All right, so J2K4U, who's in chat as well as tweeted this, asks, did Blizzard go too far with nerfing Shudderwock and Even Shaman into non-existence? So Even Shaman isn't nerfed to non-existence, clearly, because we just saw it still in tier 2, but Shudderwock for sure is nerfed to below 50%. But do you think that the nerf was, I mean, I don't know if the nerf, if you nerfed the viable decks, obviously it's not going to be non-existent. So do you think the nerf was actually viable or proper? And then do you think that, or do you think that, they did too much with it?
Well, I really like Shudderwock Shaman. So
okay.
I know it's not like a super popular opinion, but I think the deck was pretty skillful, and it had counterplays, and I just think it was really fun to play. I don't really know why they killed it. I don't think it was OP. When you would look at its HS replay win rates, they were like often like 48% or something, like pretty low.
Was it at the top rating though? I feel like Shudderwock Shaman was much higher in Legend though, like the top Legend.
No.
It was like really good. Okay, I might be for just.
It was not even, but at the time that they nerfed it, it wasn't even that common. It was already kind of like decline.
Okay.
Aggro would beat it a lot, just because.
Yeah, for sure that was the case.
Have like a perfect. It doesn't have that much board. Like you've got your volcanoes, but okay, that's almost it. It's not like you got big screams over here. It wasn't. I don't think it was even nearly as oppressive as like Xeric Priest was for quite a while there. I would have rather seen a nerf to that. But...
yeah, we're still due for that.
So I think that it wasn't a big problem. I think it was mostly a tournament deck, not a very good ladder deck. And I think it filled an important slot in tournament lineups.
It wasn't easy to play. Like
nope, it was challenging.
Yeah, for sure, it was challenging. Like
that's why its win rates are so low, I think too.
Yeah.
But also just it has counters. It also has like an inherent flaw in that once you play Shudderwock, you don't just win. You have the chance, if you didn't manage your resources well enough, to whiff on the battle cries.
Yeah.
I keep bringing up Makathun, but Makathun is never whiffing on the battle cry. It's not ever gonna like have a chance to not do the combo. But,
well, the entire deck is like spells too. Like with Shudderwock, there was actually
a way. You had to do a lot of things.
Well, you could win tempo wise. Like you didn't have to win. Like there were a lot of different kinds of win conditions. When it was
just a good deck, and I'm sad. I don't know why. I can't even play it in Wild. Like it's. I guess that person made it with it. So but I think on ladder on Wild it's too slow. But.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, for sure. It did remove like a deck that does have a skill ceiling for sure. Like a pretty high skill ceiling. So that is definitely a bummer.
It's different. It had like a different strategy and feel to playing it.
Yeah. I would say that I mean, the nerf was, I wasn't that against the nerf as much as like, I think the more of the issue is just that Shaman just doesn't have any win conditions, more so than it is that, like Shudderwock disappears. So therefore Shaman just only has even, and even got nerfed a little bit here, and so it sucks. Yeah, they have to add win condition cards in the next expansion for Shaman to be safe.
Something definitely. Yeah. Shaman has a lot of interesting tools, but
they have a ton of them. They have
no way to close out a game.
Yeah, like right now it's like playing warrior. Like the only way you win is fatigue. And that's like it. But
I think the Flame Tongue nerf was fine though. I think
yeah.
I mean, like, Shaman wasn't that good, but that card was probably OP. Maybe it just wasn't needed. Maybe it wasn't even needed.
Well, it was like the one card that
was good.
Well, it kept the hero power relevant. Like without that card, the hero power is like substantially underpowered.
So true.
Yeah, so they'll need to have similar. It might not be universally good. Where it just gives you like 6 attack, but they're gonna have to have cards that buff those totems because. Like right now, it's like 0-2 totems have obviously 0 effect on tempo, and this game is so much about tempo.
Yeah, that's why even Shaman and Wild was good. It's still really good, actually. I think that.
Yeah.
I'm ranked 3 legend on Wild NA right now, and I've been playing Q Block and even Shaman pretty much only.
Well, you know what it is, about even Shaman and just Shaman period. It's like their battle cries are great. Like their battle cries are incredible, and that's why. Cards like Zentimo and Electra and even Shutterwalk. You can even play Shutterwalk and like that Peanut Shaman. They're great. It's just they're all control oriented. Like none of them are aggressive oriented at all. So it's about changing that a little bit. If they can just like swing that a little bit or create some I don't know what the idea should be, but they're just too heavy in that regard right now. Okay, so let's see, another question we have here is Wes for you to ask, how do you feel about class identities? Did they change it too much? Have they changed it too much? You talk from the original. So
I think he means like Paladin is about tokens, Druid is about ramping, Warrior is about armor. Warlock is drawing. I don't personally. I guess I don't think it. I don't really doesn't concern me. I guess.
Yeah, the identity. I don't. I mean, for me, ideally, I wouldn't care that much about identity. I mean, identity matters just because of the flavor of the game, and it's coming from World of Warcraft, and it seems to be important to them too. So I don't think they've changed it that much. I mean, I think the biggest thing that changed was just what's happened with Hunter. Like Hunter having unlimited resources is absurd to me. Like, I mean, it was basically making the unicorn control Hunter, like going overboard and trying to make that a reality.
But then they can also kill you turn 5. So yay.
Wait, what do you mean? Like
Hunter, if they don't kill you on turn 5,
then you're talking about the spell
control deck. So they're both. The Hunter decks are like both. I think it's too much because they're 2 archetypes in one, like a super aggressive deck and then also anti-control.
Yeah. So they should be missing one. Yeah. They need to lose one of them, at the very least, right? So outside of Hunter, I think all the other ones have been, for the most part, consistent. I mean, Druid, now that they lost Ramp, Ramp was a huge identity. They
have no identity now.
I mean, they've got Beast. I mean, Beast are consistent with the theme, but
Beast Druid. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just pointing out what's available to them. But in terms of historically in Hearthstone, what Druids meant, that it's quite different than it used to be. But they're sticking to it, I think. Patreon link in. I think I need to check that.
Yeah, like I don't care if Druid should be allowed to gain armor too. Why? I don't think Warrior needs to be the only class that can gain armor.
Okay.
For example, I don't think the traits crossing over really matters too much.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Okay, so one other question here. Where was the other question? Let me go up here. Did I miss it? I thought there was another question I might have missed here. Let me check. Twitter real quick as well. Oh, what do you think about what do you think about the Janna art nerf, which has been? Did you see the thing that? Did you see the thing the last couple of days where the promotion still had the old Janna on it?
Oh no!
And then,
I didn't see that.
Yeah, the promotion, the most recent promotion had like, I forget, it was a discount or whatever. Still had the old Janna on it, so people were like troll raging over it, and then they changed it like literally on the day they changed that promotion. That's pretty crazy.
What do I think about it? That's the question?
I mean, what do you think about them changing? I guess, yeah. Like, what's your perspective on that? Like, do you think they needed to, or did it seem, especially from a female perspective, is definitely going to be interesting.
Yeah, I have conflicting feelings on it. On one hand, I do feel like the female heroes in Hearthstone are sexualized, except for NemZ, which is like a newer one. Right, I think the only non-sexualized female character. I guess Lunara. She's still wearing like a bikini top, but yeah, I feel like she's a horse lady.
Horse lady, yeah, it's okay because she's a horse lady.
Kind of game.
Yeah, but also I don't think I don't think it was offensive, and I don't think that we should really be like labeling women's bodies as offensive. Is kind of a whole can of worms too, or like saying like, oh, you need to cover up Jaina, but like whoever Malfurion, you can see his business. He's
I mean,
wrong,
people are going to bring up the guys too as well. Right?
Yeah, and it's true because that also contributes to the sexualization of women's bodies. It's almost a trap. It's a catch-22 or something. Like, if you make them dress too modestly, then you're like, and I guess either all the characters dress modestly, not just the women, or none of them do, and it's whatever.
Right, yeah, and having to go through it would be pretty funny to see what everything. I mean, how many cards they would have to change if they were.
So then why change just Jaina?
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense.
I agree.
That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, it's cool if you want to be like very family friendly and not have anything risque. But then again, like, why is Jaina's cleavage risque and Malfurion's shirtlessness is not?
Right. Like, I wonder if it was like a specific request from somebody. I don't know, for whatever reason. It does seem pretty random.
It's a complex issue, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, one last time. Any of you guys have one last question? Oh, there was a question from Rebel Rider. What do you hope to see from the upcoming new competitive Hearthstone format? Okay, so what format do you hope it is? Is there any specific, particular one that you're hoping for?
So can you repeat the question?
Is there a specific format that you're hoping for?
For the eSports announcement?
Yeah, in terms of the new HCT format.
I think the most likely thing is going to be one deck sideboard. Maybe best of one.
Oh, so that was the speculation, right? Because they were using that in TestBug. You know, where they were doing it. And that's what I was suspecting too. Like, I would have been very surprised if they didn't test or, have some type of format that they had never tested before. So what do you think of that? Do you like that better?
I haven't played the format. Okay. I think sideboarding is cool.
Yeah, I've always thought conceptually sideboarding is cool. I just wasn't. This is like, I always mention this on the show, but like, I remember me and Kibler were talking about like a while back about doing like an event together or something, and I suggested doing a sideboard tournament, right? Like, where the concept of having, say, 40 cards, right, in the meta for a 40 card type of thing could be a very interesting thing versus just the 30 card meta. And he pointed out that it's just it doesn't work that way with Hearthstone. Eventually, after like talking about it for a long time, he convinced me that it wasn't going to work. And so I'm curious if it would work. I mean, how would it work? Everybody would have to choose. Would they all get to choose any class that they wanted? Because wouldn't everybody just choose the same class over time?
This is what I think. If this format is to be the new format, it requires the printing of neutral disruption cards, because otherwise, yes, everyone will be forced to choose a combo deck or a deck that beats a combo deck. And if there's only answer to something like, say, Demonic Project, and your opponent's has Togwaggle through it, or Togwaggle in their sideboard. Like, if you don't have Warlock with Demonic Project, you have no way to answer that combo, really? Or you don't have Geist in your sideboard. Okay, Geist is a good one for that, but so that example's not great.
Yeah.
there's a little geist there to mess that one up. But yeah, so I think that it's going to make neutral cards more important because that'll allow people to choose different classes, like you said. Otherwise, everyone's just going to pick the best class. So we need strong neutral cards that could be put in the sideboard, I think, if we're going to do that format.
It seems so limited in the amount of just different stuff that we'll see. You know, like right now, at least people are bringing multiple decks, and you know, just from a very macro level standpoint, we see a bunch of different classes, we see a bunch of different cards, you know, like matchups and things like that. I feel like when we get to a single class or single card kind of or deck type of thing with sideboard, we're just going to see the same thing like over and over and over, and it's not going to be very much. You know, like it's going to be potentially the same deck over and over again with the same sideboard. Everybody, you know, once the like meta's figured out, or that mirror matchups, and again, you know, like not much of a variety. That doesn't sound like a very great environment.
It's hard if we want all the classes to be represented, then we have a rock paper scissors format.
Yeah.
But if we I feel like it's like that choice, or like you said, there becomes a more closed meta that involves more mirrors and teching in the sideboard.
Yeah.
Main deck. So like these are kind of the two outcomes, you know, and it's like, which one do you prefer? Like high rolling matchups in Swiss or high rolling mirrors?
Well, it'd be cool I think it'd be neat if you could bring 3 different classes, you know, and have like your let's just say it's a 10 card sideboard. I don't know what it is. It's not, just hypothetically, right? 10 card sideboard, and so for each of the classes, you basically have these 40 cards, right? For each of these classes. And then there's this whole banning thing, you know, like there's a whole banning section of the competition or pre-game where you ban, and then you basically ban to the point where you each have one deck going against each other. That way, you know, it could facilitate seeing different types of decks against each other based on, you know, strategy prior to the match starting. I think that could be interesting.
Yeah, but I think perhaps maybe they don't want to make it too complicated, and having an extensive involved banning phase, it creates downtime in broadcast and in tournament when you're running a tournament.
Yeah.
And also harder for viewers to follow. I mean, it's pretty simple. The suggestion is like, here's Ike with Shaman. You know, like that's a very like easy thing to introduce and like grab a hold of, and like Ike has Shaman. I don't know. It kind of creates like, and people. I don't think it's gonna get to the point where everyone just picks Paladin, for example, because people have decks they prefer either way. And if they make the cards, if they continue like make cards similar in power level to each other, we can still see a variety of stuff without having to make stuff unnecessarily complicated, jump through hoops. Card games are card games. They're random. There's no getting rid of that. And there's no creating some, I think, like angel, like perfect format that like is completely fair and balanced and like variety. And I think it's too hard to have all those things.
Yeah. Well, I agree with all those things. I'm just afraid that if we played like say a best of 3 with the same you know, like just the one deck and the sideboard, it's basically just going to be playing in a way. You're going to be basically seeing the majority of the same cards 3 times in a row, like 3 games in a row. You know, like even just from the standpoint of what you see as a spectator. So I mean, I'm speaking purely from a spectator standpoint, not from a player standpoint.
Yeah, I was trying to say from both. I think it's but also nobody wants to be seeing polarized matchups, so mirrors are better in that way. And also, like, I did play other card games, like I came from competitive Pokemon, and it's one deck in that format as well. So
yeah,
I have,
that's true. I mean, historically, it's proven.
Kind of experience with that. Yeah, Magic has one deck format. It's just the way you just kind of have to accept that sometimes there's going to be metas where a certain deck is the best, but often then that gives rise to a counter deck to that deck. Like, and so it shifts. And with the release of every set or every nerf, it changes anyway. So you won't see the same matchups for that long. And also, now that we're not having 3 tournaments a month or plus.
Oh, yes. Things can be kind of under wraps a little bit more.
Like probably between the major events, the meta will change enough.
Okay. I could see that. Yeah, for sure. Hopefully the designers, the Blizzard will create diversity in every class. You know what I mean? Like we won't get like one class that has like can do literally everything, and then we have a class that can barely do anything.
Strong neutral cards.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, maybe one or two more here. Let's see which ones are good here. Let's see. Whoa, this is a quick one. Panchog. Any news on and info regarding the WSOE tournament? Like, do you know of anything about anything for a second one?
Nope. Nothing. Sorry.
Yeah.
I can't give any.
I haven't heard anything either. So. How do you feel about Philo Virus asks, how do you feel about unnerfing all the nerfed classic cards like Warsong and Ancient Allure, Force of Nature at rotation and moving them to Hall of Fame? What's the point in keeping unplayable cards in the basic classic external set? Yeah. How do I feel about it? I mean, Ancient Allure, I wouldn't mind. I feel like Ancient Allure nowadays isn't even that crazy. It's like par, like, it's good, but it's not disgusting. Right? We just talked about Countess. Countess gives you 3 cards at 7 and a 6/6. So, and it's neutral. It's not even Druid. Yeah. And then Force of Nature is still pretty strong, but it's still not terrible.
Not good at Wild.
Yeah. Anything with charge is strong. So, but in terms of moving the Hall of Fame, sure, yeah, I'd move in the Hall of Fame. I think just getting rid of all of them is kind of what they're saying, right? Just kind of like let's just kind of let's unnerf them and just move them out of the set so that we can make some room for new stuff. Yeah, I'd be down for it. If they're not being played and they're supposed to be like these epic and these are basically epics and rares. Then yeah, let's just make some room for some new ones. That'd be good.
Yeah, I think that the basic and classic sets, maybe just classic or whatever, I think they should rotate. I don't think other games usually have cards that never leave, and that just like super restricts the design team and their new stuff too. Like, it seems like it's not needed to me. Like, you can always reprint effects too. Like, reprints are not the end of the world. If there's a set rotation, like everything should go that's old, and then only the new stuff should stay.
Well, I think they're always afraid of just people who left the game and coming back and still like having the game resemble what they left. And I think they just need to deprioritize that. That I don't think that's.
Most players can play WoW. So.
Yeah, or Tower and Brawl, whatever, right?
Or single player or arena.
Yeah, I mean, coming back to what the game was 3 years ago, I don't even know if that's really that good of a thing anyways.
Why would you want, I don't think, you don't want to stay in the same space.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I say that, but I was, after BlizzCon, I was like playing some StarCraft 2 again, right? And it is nice to be able to do some of the things that you used to do, like build wise and whatnot, and still have that familiarity, but not have everything just completely new. But I think in terms of a card game, I think having everything completely new is actually a good thing in a game like Hearthstone.
And since we have 2 formats anyway, why not make standard even more standard?
Yeah,
and then
that's a good point.
We already have Wild. It's fine. It's already there.
Yeah, true. Okay, maybe one last one. Let me see if there's any others that are interesting. Oh, there's a bunch of them now. Let's see. I'm trying to pick the best one here. Okay, so this is a question we get from time to time, which is Captain Crunch 5574 asks, what about flashcards in instance like MTG has? That would add having players save mana for other turns and a quick, easy way to counter some OTK. Yeah, what's your thoughts on that?
Playing a card during your opponent's turn.
Yeah, well, I think that's one example. Another example is just like being able to save mana for your next turn. Having to kind of stockpile mana kind of thing, or something like unspent mana. Having that play some kind of role. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know what Blizzard's answer is. It's too complex.
Yeah, but, I kind of agree.
Yeah,
it's scary. I was like learning MTG because that's a game I hadn't played before.
Yeah.
When the I downloaded it and played it a bit, and I found it kind of tough to get into.
So like, you've never played Magic before?
No, not till.
Yeah, me either. Yeah, me either. Like that was the first time I played it as well, like on MTG Arena. So it is a bit daunting, you know, in terms of understanding everything. But I think once you understand everything and kind of like Hearthstone, get more familiar with the sets. There's a lot of cards though in Magic.
A lot of cards.
Yeah, a lot of cards, and they do different stuff, you know. And but generally, I do wish that there was like another type of resource in Hearthstone. You know, like it'd be nice if there was another element, just so it would open up a little bit more design for them, because you know, it's pretty restricting right now. And it's like if we ever did want to broaden the game, you know, like expand the game out a little bit, I think it's really hard the way it currently is. Like they're doing the best they can, you know, within the parameters that they're working with right now. And not to say they're running out of ideas. I mean, there's still plenty of ideas to do, but I think if you added another element to it, you know, then it could be like weapons being or auras instead of weapons, you know, or something like that. Then we could, you know, have just a tiny bit of complexity and not be too crazy. But it's a fine line though. It's really hard to like figure out what is still very accessible to mobile players and things like that, and still, you know, have some complexity or adding some complexity to the game. But
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think there's any more. So why don't we wrap up? Nicholena, it was great having you on. This is a lot of fun. Hope you had fun as well.
I did, and thanks for having me. Good discussions.
Yeah, some good topics today. I think surprisingly, with just, you know, a few weeks to go before the expansion, usually it's super quiet. But we've got the World Champs coming up pretty soon here, or at least the Winter Championships coming up here. I think it's in a week. I think that's next week. So yeah, there'll obviously be some news there to pick up on. Obviously the wild stuff too this weekend. But any shout outs you want to do before we take off here?
Just shout out to my community. I saw a bunch of you in chat, so thanks for coming and supporting. And you guys are awesome.
Awesome. And I'll give a shout out just to, you know, everybody that came and watched as well, and all the folks that listen as well, because, you know, lots of folks listen to Value Town these days. And want to give a shout out just to the patrons, just as always, just because we, you know, wouldn't be able to do the show without you guys. So I want to give a shout out to a few of them each and every episode. So Ray Down, Bryce L, Nick P, Peter V, Keepa, Greg S, Blake T, Nick B, Michael S, Richard G, Chris C, and Zach M. Thanks so much for doing that. And if you guys enjoy the show, go to patreon.com/ValueTown. Take a look at the Patreon and throw a pledge our way if you like the show. But that's going to be it, guys, for this week. So you can check out the VODs at youtube.com/ChanManV. All the audios will be on the typical channels on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, SoundCloud.com/ChanManV. Just look up Value Town or Hearthstone. You'll find us. But that's going to be it, guys, for this week. So for Nicholena and myself, ChanManV, we'll see you next week.
Peace.